Hello and welcome to Bodhi Chakra's Healing Balm Make and Take online. Today we're going to be making a healing balm for pain. We'll be using the essential oils peppermint and sweet orange. This is what the product will look like in its final stages. Ignore this is our migraine one. This one is well used. Sorry, it has an oil stain on the front. I'm just going to open this up, give you a quick look. Don't mind the contents. This is what it looks like once it's been used. This is our final goal. These are the tins we will be using. You can use anything you want. I bought these on Amazon. I believe I bought, I think it was 30. No, it was 64 for $30. And these are 60 milliliter tins. You can buy them anywhere. You can buy whatever size you want. Really doesn't matter. Totally up to you. You're going to need either a double boiler system or a Pyrex, which is what I'm using. I'm going to be melting my ingredients in this big Pyrex, and then I'm going to be pouring it into my smaller Pyrex to pour it into my tins because it's easier and I will hopefully spill less because I'm clumsy. You'll be needing an oil. I'm personally using vegetable oil, but you can use vegetable oil, olive oil, canola oil, fractionated coconut oil, jojoba oil. You can use whatever oil you want. It really doesn't matter. You'll also need beeswax. I use the pellets. You can also get beeswax in like a big brick. Personally, I recommend the little pellets because they are much easier to melt down. If you've used beeswax before, you know it takes a while to melt. It's very hard. It takes forever to melt. Anyway. Now you can either do this step in the microwave or on the stovetop. I prefer the stovetop. So I'm just going to put it on low and slowly warm up my oil. I'm doing about 3 cups of vegetable oil here. Now I'm going to add the beeswax to our oil mixture. You'll see me add about 5 tablespoons of our beeswax pellets. I wish I could tell you it's an exact science, but unfortunately it is not. For this amount of oil, I am using about 5 tablespoons of these beeswax pellets. That's generally what I find works for this amount of oil. I'm using heaping tablespoons for this. You'll see me later on take out a couple drops once it's all melted onto some wax paper and let it cool, and then I will rub it in my fingers and see if that's the consistency I'm looking for at room temperature. Sometimes you do have to add a little bit more wax if you're looking for something harder, or you might have to dilute it with some more oil if you're looking for something a little more malleable. It really depends what you're looking for, and sometimes you do have to play with the recipe a little bit, but that's totally fine. Now we will just keep this on low and continue to stir every couple of minutes and let our mixture melt together. Okay, so after you've let your sample cool on the counter here for about 5 minutes, I'd say 5 minutes is a good representation for what your lip balm will be for consistency at room temperature. Whatever you do, do not put your sample in the fridge, no matter how tempting it is or how impatient you are, because if you put it in the fridge, it's not a good representation of what your lip balm will be at room temperature. Anyway, so After your sample has cooled down to room temperature, you're going to just take your finger, just do a light rub, and if that's the consistency you're looking for, feel free to put a little bit on your lips, rub your lips together. If that feels good to you, then carry on, and you can start putting your lip balm in your tubes. And now once all of our liquid gold has been melted down, I aliquot about 2 cups into the smaller Pyrex, and this is where I add my essential oils. So you'll see me adding about 2 milliliters of each of the essential oils into the Pyrex. I'm adding about 2 milliliters of sweet orange and 2 milliliters of peppermint. It's very hard to measure the exact amount, but generally as much as that little dropper will take is about 1 milliliter each. I'm running a little bit low on the peppermint, so it took me a little longer there. But I just find it's much easier to mix it up in the little Pyrex and then pour it from there because I spill a lot less. If you've ever tried to pour from that big Pyrex, it's not going to work out for you. So now I'm just slowly going to pour all of these tins. When I run out of my mixture in the little Pyrex, I'm going to pour some more in and mix up my oils again and just repeat the same process over and over again until all my tins are full. After you've poured all your product, I want you to leave it all on the counter. Don't put it in the fridge or anything, and don't put any lids on it for at least 2 hours. Make sure you allow everything to cool thoroughly, and don't put the lids on it, because if you put the lid on it and you go to check on it in a couple hours, you might notice there will be some condensation on the inside and it just won't look very nice. And there you have it, your final product. I don't know what you plan to do with these. Personally, I use them for my business and I sell them for $5, but I've seen them go anywhere from $5 to $10. I hope you enjoyed this online make and take DIY tutorial, and I hope you come back for some more.